Hi again, Risa here, back with another episode of Ask Risa. This is my weekly video series where I discuss some common wedding planning questions and problems, things that you might be dealing with if you're planning your own wedding. There are a bunch of other videos in this series on YouTube. You can find those on my YouTube channel under Risa James Events, and on Instagram you can find them on my IGTV. This week, I want to talk about registering for presents. It's one of the best parts of wedding planning. It was definitely one of my top two favorite things about planning my wedding, cake tasting being the other one. So these are definitely fun activities, and we're gonna make it as easy as possible for you. I'm gonna give you a few tips. Registering is not one of the things that has to be done right away. So when you first get engaged, obviously there's a flurry of activity as you pick a date and find a venue and try to get all your important vendors lined up. So don't worry about registering until you've already gotten through those first couple of months of wedding planning. So the main thing you want is, if you're sending out save the dates and doing a wedding website, you're gonna put the wedding website on the save the dates. People are gonna go to the wedding website and check it out. So you might wanna have at least one of your registries complete before you send out your save the dates, just so when people go to your website, there's something there. You don't have to though. That page can just be under construction and people will check back. But some people, I know I like to do this, but I'm weird and wedding oriented, so I don't know how many normal people do this, but I almost always send a gift before the wedding, well before the wedding, just to get it out of the way. I get that save the date and I decide, where I'm going based on my calendar and schedule, and then I just like to send that gift so I don't have to think about it anymore. So if any of your friends and family are like that, they will appreciate it if there's already some registry information on your website when they get that save the date. Quick note, don't ever put registry information directly on either your save the date or your wedding invitation. It is not cool to put that there. Putting a link to your website on your save the date is perfectly fine, and having your registry information on the website is fine. The only place your registry information should directly appear is a bridal shower invitation, because it is the whole point of the bridal shower is to bring gifts, so it makes sense to put the registry information on there. But otherwise, it's considered gauche. Don't do it. So when it comes time to registering, think about what you need. So maybe you've been living out on your own for a while and you kind of already have built up stuff. You've got plates and silverware and glasses and all that sort of stuff. Maybe you like what you have, or maybe you've just been gathering hand-me-downs for the past several years and you would really like a more cohesive, put together look. Maybe you and your fiancé have been living together for a while and you combined households at some point. So maybe you have everything you need, or again, maybe it's just a mishmash and you would rather start from scratch. So sit down, have a conversation, think about what your needs are, because that's gonna determine what you register for and where you register. If you don't need any housewares type stuff, you can register for sort of out of the box things like home decor or camping gear. If you're very outdoorsy, REI actually has a registry. So does Anthropology for home decor and things like that. So it doesn't have to be your typical, towels, sheets, plates, silverware, things like that. If you're good on that stuff, you can register for something else. Or if you don't have the space or you don't need any more stuff, then you can register for experiences like a honeymoon registry. I have some friends, I've had a couple of friends do this actually. So you basically break down the registry into things like special dinners out, or a cruise around the harbor, or whatever, wherever you're going. Some friends of mine went to Japan on their honeymoon, so my husband and I bought them a wedding gift of a meal at one of the fancy sushi places that they wanted to go to in Japan. Basically, we just gave them an amount of money through the honeymoon registry, and they allocate it based on what they need the money for. But the way it's set up is it makes you feel like you're buying them something specific for their honeymoon as opposed to just giving them cash. It's also a little less gauche to ask for experiences than to just ask for straight up cash. You can do that. It's best to do that via word of mouth rather than having something more official, and it's still a little frowned upon as far as wedding etiquette goes. So just keep that in mind. As far as how many places to register, sorry, I have my notes here. I would say don't do more than 4. Like 2 to 3 is probably good, 4 at the most. You want to register at a mix of stores, like some more expensive than others, and you want to have a mix of items on your registry at different price points, some that are more expensive than others. Some people, like your close family, are probably going to get you a more expensive gift. Some of your friends might go in together on a gift and get you something more expensive, but some people also might just want to get you something little. Plus, think about the fact that you're registering not just for the wedding gifts, but also for any shower gifts that you might get. And so those typically have maybe a lower price point. So you want to make sure you have a mix of items. Some popular choices for creating registries are Crate & Barrel, Sur La Table, Pottery Barn, Williams-Sonoma, kind of your top 4 big home goods type places. Home Goods. They probably have a registry too. I don't know. It's a little harder with places like Home Goods though, because their inventory is constantly changing. So they may not have a registry. Big department stores like Macy's or whatever is in your geographic area. There aren't as many department stores as there used to be. Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, Amazon does a registry, which is great because you can just add things from basically anywhere to your Amazon registry. So that's a really good sort of catch-all registry. And West Elm, and then Anthropologie and REI, I already mentioned. So those are just kind of some of the more popular choices for registering. But just think about where you like to shop for things for your home or things that you and your fiance use together in your life. And if you don't cook at home, you probably don't need a bunch of stuff from Sur La Table. My husband likes to cook and I like to have kitchen gadgets. So that was one of our biggest registries, was at Sur La Table. So just think about your life, what you do and what you need, and then start registering. And you can either do it online, which is fine because you can do it, late at night or whatever, sitting on the couch with a glass of wine or a beer, or you can go do it in person. And a lot of these stores will have registry events. So if you get on their mailing list, then they'll have a special event. Some of them are private, some of them are like semi-private where you're there with a bunch of other couples, but they'll open the store early or sometimes just keep it open late on a Sunday when they might normally close earlier. And you have the store to yourself or with a few other engaged couples. Sometimes they have food and drinks and snacks. I went to a couple where they had like a DJ. Granted, this was in LA and they have DJs all over the place in LA, but they make it an event. And some of them even will have other wedding vendors come and you can talk to people about whatever. So if you're gonna do it in person, look for one of those types of events to do that. But it is kind of fun to just like walk around the store and pretend shop for all the stuff that you want. So highly recommend. Registering is a blast. Don't have to do it right away, but make sure you do it, reasonably halfway through your process, depending on what your timeline is. And keep tabs on your registry as you go, because if things look like they're getting depleted, you can always add stuff later if it looks like if you know that you still have a bunch of guests who haven't gotten you anything yet, because you can tell on the registry, it'll keep track of who gets you what. If you know you still have a lot of guests who need to get gifts and there aren't that many left on the registry, you can update it and add more stuff to it. All right, that's it. I'll be back next week to talk about something else. Have a good week.